What's going on, guys? So I created this series, which is going to be 0 to 100K with influencer marketing, and it's going to be laying out the full strategy. It's not going to be a case study. It's going to be actually laying out the strategy for how to take your product or service from 0 to 100,000 plus in revenue using influencer marketing, specifically on YouTube. In this first video, I'll be going over finding the niche in the channels. I just want to let you know too that I created an ebook to go along with the series. It includes like all the scripts for reach out, being able to book them, like just laying out everything so you don't need to go back and like just look at the video. So I'll include all that. So instructions for being able to get the ebook will be down in the description. So don't be a square, get the ebook, and then let's get into the video. All right, so the first part of being able to go from 0 to 6 figures with influencer marketing is obviously identifying the niche and the channels. Now, I'm going to be doing this in a sense where I'm assuming you were product testing. If you are scaling, you can obviously just input whatever niche your product is in with these niches that I have on screen, or obviously if it's different, be able to look into a different niche. But so this is the first biggest lesson that I wish that I knew before going into influence marketing is that majority of the time, especially in America and even going worldwide now, you do not want to work with talent agencies. That's like number one. So that's like the biggest thing that you have to avoid if you want to be able to get good pricing is not working with talent agencies, because they just, obviously the prices just don't make sense, right? And so the biggest thing with it is like talent agencies in America, especially, let's just say majority of the time, their mindset is not, oh, if we charge a profitable rate, if the brand makes money, then we can run consistently. No, they think of it as we're going to take on limited partnerships and we're just going to charge as much as we can to maximize what we're going to earn from those partnerships. And in no way are they thinking, is this brand going to make money? Because a lot of the time, the brands doing this aren't really focused on making money, or they don't know what they're doing. So they just get, abnormal pricing that's just way too much to actually make a profit, and they're just getting the content from it, which could make sense depending on the business. But obviously, majority of you guys watching are trying to make a profit from this. And so you need to work with people that aren't managed by talent agencies. So you're actually able to get the real price and not have it hiked up by people, so many hands in the one pot, I put a list down of the non-management controlled influencer niches that just a few examples. You want to look into niches that do not have any interest from talent agencies is pretty much where I'm trying to get with this. Those niches could be like the firearms niche, which firearms, you do have to be careful, obviously, depending on your brand and stuff like that. Obviously, you can't just go in selling a gun, but, it's just like a niche that doesn't really have much talent agency interest in it, right? The outdoors and survival niche, which I'll be actually diving into one of a good channel that is. But yeah, outdoors and survival is a very good niche. Niches that actually I found really good pricing in niches that are like sports influencers, like niche sport influencers that aren't super big. Let's just say, for example, a hockey tutorial video, for an example, they're not managed by talent agencies. So like, you're actually able to get a good price. Actually, tennis influencers is the niche that I've found really good pricing in as well. So it's kind of interesting. Car influencers that aren't super big. I've seen companies, sponsor their builds, which can obviously get expensive, but, you could, offer some sort of thing, where it would make sense. And, if there's, like, you can't go with someone as big as Stradman, at least for companies that aren't doing like 300,000 to 400,000 per year in profit already. Like if a company's doing more than 300,000 to 400,000 in profit, Stradman could make sense if they're in the car niche. Because from my knowledge, he charges like 30 to 40K from what I've heard. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but that's just from what I've heard. So if you're reinvesting 10% of your yearly profit pre-tax, you could, obviously he could blow you up if it's the right product. The gaming influencers that aren't super big or managed is something that I've found a lot of success in for sure with the compilation pages for Fortnite. Which is actually an interesting niche with the shorts channels that are coming up with that. Like motorcycle, dirt bike, and ATV influencers. I found actually really good pricing with motorcycle influencers as well. So that's actually an interesting niche. Plus, it's a very passionate niche, and it's very recommendation based for what to get and stuff like that. A niche that I've scaled past $3 million in revenue in total with like the brands that I've worked with, and the service businesses that I've worked with is the business and making money online niche. obviously it's a bit different. Yeah, it's a very it's a niche that I've had most of my success in for sure. Fishing influencers. You can't go someone super big, but there's definitely like 100K, 200K subscriber pages that aren't managed by anybody, and you can definitely get good prices. Another niche that I actually was very blown away that even existed was farmers. Farmers is actually a really good niche. They're not managed by talent agencies. I mean, they're just farmers, right? And it's very recommendation based, and they have really solid communities, so it's something to look into as well. Now, the niches to avoid, we have management controlled niches, which is mainly, this is just a short list. There's obviously, you could go way bigger, but mainly vloggers, big gaming influencers, let's just say like Ninja, just any like the bigger, like managed, like obviously if they're in an org, you kind of want to stay away from them unless like you're just a massive brand. Beauty influencers, fashion influencers, DIY influencers too. Those people are a pain in my ass, bro. And then like the general TikTokers obviously are managed by agencies, people who just make dancing videos or whatever. They don't really have a niche, they're just like a general TikToker. And really any influencer with the talent agency email, something you definitely want to avoid. Yeah, it's just a waste of time, complete waste of time, majority. So now let's go into like what is a good channel to generate sales. So this is something that rarely no one will do, but because I like you guys and I want you guys to actually learn, I'm going to show you a channel that has generated over $15,000 in revenue just from a couple of videos. So I'm going to show that to you in just a sec. Okay, now we are on this channel that has generated over 15K in revenue in just a couple of videos. So Survival Lily. Obviously, I'm not going to show you guys the videos. At the time, she was like 950K subscribers around there. She's a very solid channel. This is like the outdoors example that I gave. Very solid channel. I mean, so like basically for her, she's in the outdoors and survival niche, right? And you can see when you look back at the oldest, she's been posting for 10 years straight. Pretty much. Like she's been posting like very frequently, right? And you may see her views like 11,000 views, a million subscribers. However, you have to realize that if you have a, say like this video right here, right? It's a dedicated video for knives. I know the results from the dedicated video that I worked with the brand that I was working with on this channel. The video had about 10,000 views and it already generated over like $4,000. So if a video gets between like 10 to 20,000 views, it's going to generate like, $4,000 to $6,000 in revenue, at least for that product. And so obviously on this channel, when she does a dedicated video, she'll make like 10 to 20K views. But then if you go and look at, let's just say a survival video, makes 148K views, right? Just stuff like that. So it's kind of like live selling to them. Like imagine if you were in a big conference room and if you were live selling to a group of 10 to 20,000 people, being able to make like a 0.5 to almost 1% view to buy rate, like meaning viewers to the amount of people who are actually purchasing, that could be very powerful, especially if you have a high average order value, which that brand did was about $100. Channels like this making 10 to 20K views, it's like live selling to an audience. So that's the way you have to think about it. This channel is very solid. Another way you can actually see, knowing how well this channel's worked, you can actually look at her Patreon, and you can even see she only makes like $138 a month from Patreon, but 43 people are on it. But you have to realize that if you take a product, see, Patreon is more for like it's for the audience that's like, her very core audience. But if you go a bit more broad than that with an actual product that she can recommend, you can obviously make a few hundred purchases instead of like her Patreon only having like 43. Yeah, just very solid channel. This is a channel that, not management controlled. Obviously, you can go and look at the email address, right? Not management, it's a very solid channel. Yeah. So that's someone who, has generated like 15K just in a couple of videos at a very good ad spend. I think the ad spend is only like 3.5K. Now let's look at a bad channel. I'm not saying this channel is bad because she probably generates sales too. But this is just an example, like verified white girl, email agency, right? I mean, she probably has the same kind of stats as Lily in terms of like how long, like 12 years. So I'm not saying that she's not bad, but it's just like you're not ever going to get a good price with her, right? She's managed by an agency. They finesse the big makeup brands into paying a lot of money. It's just not worth it. So this kind of channel would be a no-go. All right, now the biggest thing you have to look for, you guys saw how I went back and looked at the oldest video they posted. See, it was 10 years for Lily, 12 years for the other girl. So you want to work with a creator that's been posting for 2 to 3 years consistently. Minimum getting like 10 to 20,000 views per video, because that's a good range where you're able to have the live selling effect, right? Of having like a decent take rate with having a pretty good amount of views, where you can generate a good amount of sales, right? And that's a way that, let's just say you get like 5 lilies. What would that be? If you got like, 8 to 10 lilies, you would do like, 100, 150K in revenue within like, 30 videos, right? And that's at a very conservative rate. This is just an example based off the real numbers that was working. So, being able to work with someone, obviously posting 2 to 3 years, 10 to 20K views per video, they're dedicated to a specific niche, and then you just basically need to find like 4 or 5 people like that and just scale within like multiple videos. And that's the way that you scale to 6 figures. So I really hope that, had it helped you how to break through, really helped, have this make more sense. Because you only need like, I've scaled to, there's one influencer generated like over 200K that I've worked with. Another influencer I've worked with that's generated over $1 million. Obviously it's a bit of a different strategy, longer term partnership with like a full sales team. Just to give an example, like you only need a couple of really good influencers to really scale, and they don't need to be like massive either. They could be like a few 100K subscribers, right? So another way you could see if they're good is you can go through the descriptions and see if they're like consistently promoting a product or service. Obviously, for services and promotions that I've ran, I've ran multiple times. So if you just came across one of those channels, you could see that they're profitable because they've ran them like multiple times. And then always make sure it's a personal email, not a talent agency email, and around like a few 100K subscriber range. So what you would do after you follow all these instructions, everything I've gone over, you would then just simply create a Google Sheets with the creators, the first name, the email, the YouTube link. Obviously, you can reach out with my script, check the description, and don't be a square. Make sure you get the script, because I've reached the biggest influencers niches using that script, so it's proven to work. So make sure you get that. And then usually I send 3 emails a week until they respond, or until they like tell me to fuck off. So that's pretty much it. Just to go over and reiterate everything I went over, do not work with talent agencies, bro. It's not it. You want to go to non-management controlled influencer niches. Stay away from these guys. Focus on the good channel and the bad channel. You can actually go through the channel and see why they're good and why they're bad. I already know I went over it, but you're able to get a better feel and actually see a channel that's generated, over 15K in revenue just from a couple of videos, which is very valuable. Creators been posting for at least 2 to 3 years consistently, who is getting minimum like 10 to 20K views a video. They're dedicated to a specific niche, so you can obviously bring a niche product to them. And another thing you could do, which you don't need to do all the time, but you could go through their descriptions and their videos and see if they're consistently promoting a product or service. And obviously you can just create the sheet, get the script, and then in the next video, I'm going over on how to set up the shout out. It's already up because I'm uploading all these videos at once. So make sure to watch that video if you actually want to get good at doing influencer marketing. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Peace.